I started watching film Saturday night, after the game. You kind of jump into this one, pretty early. You don't want to waste any time. I think the good thing about this week, we don't have any class or anything like that, so it's a lot of more opportunities to watch film and to trying to find those tendencies and actually get to know the scheme and not just the players. So, like I say, man, Saturday, I kind of embraced the win and kicked it with my family a little bit, enjoyed senior night. But after then, I didn't even give myself the 24-hour rule. It was like 24 minutes this time. So I kind of jumped into it, man, and I'm excited to play this game Saturday.
Is there a little more pep in your step, just going into it when you talk to your teammates? Do you see something with
Mm.
everybody in the locker room, maybe a little more, pep in their step this week?
Yeah, most definitely, man. The Iron Bowl. When you say the Iron Bowl, no words need to follow it. The game kind of speaks for itself. The preparation has to match what you want to put on the field and how you want to play on Saturday. So, like I say, I think my team's pretty fired up. We know what's at stake. We know the talent that they have. We know the respect level that they have for us. Also, it's the Iron Bowl. They don't like us, we don't like them. So it's going to be a physical game. It's going to be a pretty good game. So, like I say, I'm excited to compete in it.
When you started dissecting that film and you're looking at their offense, your first impression was?
They're very, very talented. This is not just a team that has one player that can beat you. And that's kind of the difficult thing to prepare for it. Our hands are extremely full on the defense side of the ball, I can tell you that. But if I had to pick any other units to compete with, I'd pick all 10 guys that I run out the tunnel with each and every Saturday. So, like I said, I know we're going to be prepared. I know we're going to be up for the test, but it's not just about being emotionally riled up. You have to know what they're doing. If you're pumped up and you don't know how to execute, then that emotion can only take you so far before the game actually slows down and they take control of it. So, like I say, man, they have talent on every level of the offensive line is extremely talented, physical. Tool is Tool. He needs no no introduction. Their running backs are probably slept on. They have a great running back committee. A committee. Their wide receivers are dominant. They can take a 3-yard slant to a 75-yard touchdown. So we know what they're all capable of. We know what they're all capable of doing. So I think the good thing about it is we know that they're good. It's not going to be a surprise at all. But we just have to go in the game with the next play mentality. When they make a play, put it behind us, get the guy on the ground, go back and execute the next down.
How much different is preparing for this team now that they have Tua and they're spread the ball around so much?
It's extremely different. When you watch film and it's 3rd and 1 and they're throwing digs. I never thought I'd be able to see that, but that's just who they are now. And like I say, you can't sleep on that running game either because they have at least 4 good running backs in the backfield. Their offensive line is massive. They're very athletic. They can move guys, but my defensive line is massive. They're very athletic, and they can move guys. So, like I say, man, it's just going to all come back down to execution, trying to limit the big plays, take away the things they do well, and try to just get them to do some things that they're uncomfortable with doing.
And what impresses you about
He's very accurate. Just watching him, he knows the game of football. You can tell he reads defenses pretty well. So if you show him what you're going to do, it's going to be a long night. I can tell you that. You can tell sometimes he has the freedom at the line of scrimmage to check plays and get the offense in a good look according to what the defense is showing. So we're going to try to have to give him some disguise or sometimes we have to act like we're disguised and actually play the coverage. So it's just all about mental gymnastics. He's a football mind. He's a football player and he's a fierce competitor.
You reckon he could be one of the best players you play against?
You said, do I what?
You reckon Tua could be one of the best players?
After Saturday, I can answer that question. I always, me personally, I always respect my opponent. I know the game of football, so I know talent. But at the same time, I'm a competitor also. So if you ran for 100 yards or 300 yards last week, it's like, okay, you did a good job. Let's see how you do against me, or how you do against my unit, not selfishly speaking. But that's just my mindset. That's the mindset I've always had. That's the mindset my unit has always had. Like, yeah, he's good, but he hasn't faced, Auburn. He hasn't faced our defense. So after Saturday, I can answer that question. But even if we do shut him down Saturday, or if we do get the win Saturday, he's still a good football player.
Deshaun, Alabama's closest game in the SEC this year has been 22 points, margin of victory. You guys are even bigger underdogs in this game. No one expects you to win. What do you say to that?
I mean, that's just opinion. It's opinion. It's opinion based. At the end of the day, they have to go out and play the game. We have to go out and play the game. The underdog doesn't really matter. If we pick to win, it doesn't really matter. There's some games that a lot of people have been picked to win this season, and they've lost. So I mean, it's just about going out and executing. The odds are not in our favor. We know that, but the odds don't matter when the ball hit the ground. So it's just about going out, executing, doing our job, competing, and we're going to see what happens.
Sean, you mentioned the ball hitting the ground. How important is it to force some turnovers?
I can tell you right now it's going to be extremely important. We know, like I said, we know they're a good team. We know they're talented. Getting some turnovers, help our offense out, get them in great field position, limit the time possession that they have the ball. All those things is going to matter. And they're not a big turnover team. They protect the football, extremely well. So it's going to be some things that we have to do to force turnovers. Like I say, man, disguise some coverages, trying to play a little mental gymnastics when guys are in piles, poking the ball out, all those type of things. Just trying to get momentum. We're on the road in a hostile environment. We're 24-point underdogs. No one expects us to win. So it's just about doing all those things and creating turnovers and limiting turnovers on our side.
How much does it help when you get ready for this game? That even though it's a different situation and different offense, Alabama's got next year, but last year you guys as underdogs beat them. How much does that help you kind of getting ready for this week?
I mean, it does, but at the same time, it doesn't. Last year. We were a totally different team. They were a totally different team. But in the back of your mind, you can always say, yeah, we were picked to lose last year, but we did it. It's just like that kind of reassurance, if you need it, to go back to say, yeah, we actually can beat this team. A lot of people, I feel, Alabama's a really good team. They have a really good dynasty, but I think a lot of people prefer the logo of Alabama. Like I said, they go out and they execute at an extremely high level. They dominate their opponent, but sometimes you can see from the first play of the game, some teams are defeated. And that's just something that we can't afford to do going in Saturday. I'd say right now they don't need any help. So we're in a hostile environment on the road. We just got to go out, play our game.
Do you fear the logo?
No, fear no one logo. I fear God.
Just being from the state and knowing what this rivalry means to both sides, does it eat at you at all that you guys were able to beat them pretty convincingly last year, but ultimately they still had a chance to win the national championship?
Yeah, that was something that I thought about during that time last year. Watching those two teams playing in the national championship when we kind of beat them both conventionally. But it's not about. I think with college football, it's all about when you lose. So we lost at the wrong time. We beat both of the teams that played in the national championship, but we lost in the SEC championship. And Georgia beat us. They went on to beat Oklahoma and faced Alabama, and probably one of the best national championship games it's ever been. So it's just about winning at the right time, I feel like. And with the college football playoff committee and all that, it's about numbers and things like that. How many points you putting up? If your team is really one of the best teams in the country. And last year, I honestly feel like we were one of the best teams in the country. We lost early on in the season, found our groove, and we hit an injury bug, lost some key players towards the end of the season, lost in the SEC championship, and the rest is history. But like I say, man, last year don't help us in this instance.
Did you hear from friends that are on that side about how y'all won the Iron Bowl, but they won it all?
Yeah, I definitely hear. My old high school coach is actually on staff at Alabama, so that was kind of a weird conversation. But we laughed about it. He told us, he knew we had a good team. We had conversations about it. Some guys from the Mobile area that I know at Alabama, Jamie Mosley, he still plays there. We talked about it, we laughed about it and everything. But like I say, man, it's just about, executing at the right time, and they were able to execute at the right time. They got the win.
Sean, you grew up watching this game. You now played in it. Your last one. What is this game and this rivalry mean to you?
It's everything to me. Being from the Mobile area, it's a ton of Alabama fans, like 20-1, Alabama to Auburn. So I was kind of an outcast when I chose Auburn, and to this day, when I go home, I hear about it. And so it's kind of been fun to be on the other side of having bragging rights, for the past year. But leading up to this game, man, it's my last one. Last Iron Bowl, last regular season game, probably my last time wearing a white uniform, at Auburn University. So before the ball is snapped, I'm definitely going to look around and just take in the environment, take in the atmosphere. One of the best rivals in college football, in front of one of the best fan bases in college football, playing one of the best teams. Just going to war with my brothers, just leaning on each other, man, trying to, go out and compete and get a win. But when that ball snaps, I'm going to be on 10. I can tell you that now. I'm going to play with every ounce of energy I've ever had. I'm going to leave it out on the field, and hopefully my teammates can match my intensity.
All right, that's it. Thank you.